Hey there, Cinephiles. For Halloween, I thought I should rank the classic Universal monsters. By classic, I do mean from the 1930s to the 1950s. And I will be ranking the big 7 monsters that are Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, the Mummy, the Invisible Man, the Bride, the Wolfman, and the creature from the Black Lagoon. To prepare for this video, I watched the first of each of their appearances in the Universal Monsters catalog. Before I get into my list, I just gotta say how often I sided with the monsters and not once sided with the regular people. I rooted for the monsters to kill these annoying people, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one. But anyway, it's time to get into my rankings. Number 7. Coming in at dead last, or I guess undead last, Count Dracula. This may be heavily swayed by his honestly mid-movie, but I just did not find him interesting. I know this film is considered to be the first in the whole classic Universal Monsters era, but just like the film, he's too just stares in atmosphere. There is more to him, like being smarter than most humans and wanting to seduce, but that's just like every other monster on this list. I know his name holds more weight than any other monster and is played by the icon that is Bela Lugosi, but I just felt no connection to him. What else can I say? He just sucks. Yes, pun intended. Number 6. The Bride of Frankenstein. Now, I've only seen The Bride of Frankenstein. I don't know if she's in another film, and surprisingly, as a titular character, she's in like 6 minutes of her 1 hour, 15-minute runtime, but her look is iconic, and the way she comes about being made is really interesting. A sort of allegory of Adam and Eve, the bride was created to give Frankenstein's monster a soulless mate. And even though that's really it, I still would take her over Dracula. It just stinks that we don't get more of her in her own film. Rather, it helps me grow more of an attachment to another character who we'll talk about soon enough. Number 5. Imhotep. The mummy Imhotep is down bad. Let's be real, his whole motivation was trying to bring back his long-lost love who currently inhabits the body of one Helen Grosvenor, who is half Egyptian and half British. I hope you can hear the air quotes, which isn't a bad motivation for Imhotep, but the thing I was most disappointed with his character was that he ended up masquerading as a regular human for the majority of the film. His skin did have the crepe paper texture to it, and it was a great choice, but the whole mummy look was not in it after the first 10 minutes. And in the end, he kinda did just boil down to pretending to be a rich guy lusting after his ex, even though I'm glad he messes up some Brits that think they can own everything. Number 4. The Wolfman. Another man just looking for a date. It's definitely a trend that many of these monsters are wanting some treats rather than tricks. The Wolfman definitely scores some points here for his design. Most of the time I see a werewolf, I usually get kinda disappointed, as when I was younger, I'd always compare other designs to this one. Without even ever seeing this film until now, I just saw the Wolfman's iconic look when I was very impressionable. It wasn't until recently with Werewolf by Night that I saw another werewolf design that I truly appreciated. Anyway, once we do get into the tragedy for Lawrence Talbot, having to become something supernatural after trying to save an innocent life is not bad. The film itself just could have been better for sure. But honestly, the biggest reason he made it up this high is because of his design. Number 3. The Gill Man. The Gill Man, aka the creature from the Black Lagoon, is from the most recent of the films I saw. Many of the technical techniques, as well as the human characters and the costume have improved, or at the very least impressed me. This is a fun film and the Gill Man is relentless. The blaring score with every appearance on screen and the creepy mouth breathing of his when he is on land is something that will stay with me for a while. I love the design of him, and the fact that he's able to move underwater the way he does is so cool. Him being the environmental monster is also a great departure from the rest of the creatures on this list. Mother Nature creating something long ago to combat those who dig too deep into the resources of Earth is something that should happen in real life. Number 2. Frankenstein's monster. Coming in at number 2 is the monster that is arguably the most, or at least one of the most iconic creatures of all time. Frankenstein's monster is a creature that was made up of reanimated parts against his will and quickly became an outcast to lead a life of tragedy. I will say that there is an unfair advantage for him, as he is the only creature on this list in which I was able to watch 2 films from, Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein. That being said, he still would have made it up this high. If anything, the second film just solidifies it. Frankenstein's monster is the creature with the most sympathetic arc. A scientist wanting to play God created a creature that should have never been born. A great cautionary tale of ambition told through the struggles of Frankenstein's monster. Of course, this does deviate from the novel, but there are still heartbreaking moments. They're when the monster tries to make a friend but either ends up killing them, the person who accepts him is taken away, or the person rejects him. In this, it is the sadness of his character that makes him easier to root for as a supposed antagonist of the film, rather than the messed up humans who created him to be a monster. He just wants friends, damn it. Number 1. The Invisible Man. The clear number 1 for me is the Invisible Man. Besides having the best costume, the wit and arc of this scientist gone mad is absolutely wonderful. In fact, his film was my favorite of these since it was definitely the most entertaining and pure popcorn fun. The Invisible Man, Dr. Griffin, was looking for a cure for his invisibility but couldn't find it. Once we meet him, he has already started to lose his marbles, really his humanity. And as the film goes on, we get to really see him turn evil. He realizes how manipulative and murderous he could be with his powers. He becomes ruthless and starts to murder people in fun ways. It definitely is a horrific concept too, a man that could always be around you and you'd never know. This is definitely something that could be well done if it were remade today. I guess it already was. Either way, I think it's still a great concept to go with. But even the execution of him 89 years ago has had a great impact on me, and I love that his character was able to inspire me. Creatively, that is. Definitely not actually. But alright, that is my ranking for the classic horror universal creatures. Going through these films, in which most of these are about to be 90 years old, was such a fun time. I highly recommend watching these films for the Halloween season, as most of them run under an hour 15 and most are on Peacock. Not a sponsor. Let me know your favorite classic universal creature down in the comments below. I'm sure there are going to be many disagreements with my list, but I'm excited to read about your thoughts. As always, thank you guys for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Please be sure to follow us on our socials to see more of our thoughts and upcoming posts. Stay tuned for more Yeti Films content, and I'll write you later.